The sun rose over the Pride Lands, painting the sky in gold and pink. Mufasa stood on Pride Rock, watching zebras grazing in the distance and elephants marching to the watering hole. The wind carried the scent of fresh grass. Little Simba and Nala played nearby, pouncing and tumbling over each other, while Zazu reported the day's news. It seemed like a perfect day, until a distant rumble of thunder rolled across the plains, even though the sky was clear. Rafiki appeared at the base of Pride Rock, tapping his staff into the ground. "Mufasa," he said gravely, "the great river swells with danger. The rains in the highlands have been heavy. If the herds try to cross too soon, they will be swept away." Mufasa's expression hardened. He knew the river was the main lifeline for animals across the Pride Lands. If the herds couldn't cross, they would starve. Mufasa called for Zazu to warn the animals, but many herds were already moving toward the river, unaware of the danger. Without hesitation, Mufasa began the long trek to the great river. Along the way, giraffes craned their necks to greet him, wildebeests trotted nervously, and birds scattered from the tall grass. The rumble of the water grew louder. When Mufasa arrived, the sight made him pause. The usually calm river was a churning, foaming monster. Logs and branches raced by, and the water roared so loudly that it drowned out other sounds. A herd of wildebeests waited nervously at the bank, their hoofs stamping the muddy ground. Young calves were pressed against their mothers, frightened. Mufasa moved closer, speaking in a deep, steady voice. "Stay together. Wait for my call. The river will not take us today." He spotted a shallow stretch downstream where the current was slower, but it meant leading the herd along a narrow, slippery bank. One wrong move, and animals could be swept away. Mufasa stepped into the cold water first, testing the depth and the strength of the current. The river pulled hard against his legs, but he stood firm. "Follow me," he called. Slowly, the herd began to move. The water splashed high around them, but with Mufasa leading, they felt braver. Halfway across, a young calf lost its footing and cried out. The current pulled it downstream toward sharp rocks. Without hesitation, Mufasa lunged through the water, gripping the calf's scruff with his teeth. The herd paused, watching in fear as he fought the current, pulling the calf back to safety. Just when Mufasa got the calf back to the herd, a dark shadow slid through the water, a massive crocodile. Its eyes broke the surface, fixed on the frightened animals. Mufasa roared so powerfully that it echoed over the plains, making the crocodile hesitate. He leapt toward it, swiping his massive paw through the water. The reptile vanished under the waves. The herd pushed forward again, Mufasa staying close to the young and weak. The current was still strong, but the opposite bank grew closer with every step. The ground underfoot turned firmer, and soon they were climbing onto the grassy bank, dripping wet but safe. Just as Mufasa shook the water from his mane, Zazu swooped down. "Mufasa! The zebra herd is still on the far side." Without resting, Mufasa turned back. The zebras had been too scared to cross earlier, but now, seeing Mufasa's courage, they followed him across the calmer stretch. When all the animals were safe, Rafiki approached Mufasa with a proud smile. "You faced the river's fury and won, not with teeth or claws, but with courage." The animals gathered around, their voices joining in a chorus of gratitude. Even the youngest calf Mufasa had saved pressed against his leg. That evening, Simba sat beside his father under the stars. "Weren't you scared, Dad?" Mufasa smiled. "Bravery isn't about not being afraid, Simba. It's about doing what's right, even when you are. The Pride Lands slept peacefully. The herds grazed safely, the river flowed calmly, and the stars shimmered above. Mufasa lay at the top of Pride Rock, keeping watch. He knew challenges would come again, but for tonight, the land was safe, and that was enough.